Welcome, everyone, to Unscripted as Fuck. This is Coach Ann Evanston, and I am thrilled that you have joined us for another amazing show today where I interview bold businesswomen who get real fast. Because let's face it, we all don't have time for 45, 50-minute podcasts trying to figure out how we're going to make more money and have greater success in our life. I am thrilled to introduce you today to the Reverend Dr. Christina Loren Clement, and she is a powerhouse strategist, faith leader, and an unapologetic architect of bold systems change. As president of the State of Lock Nation Global Public Benefit Corporation, she merges law, economics, media, and spiritual authority into one commanding platform. A published author and a public policy thinker and a U.S. Senate candidate, she doesn't wait for seats at the tables. She builds new ones. Known for her precision, her presence, and her purpose, Dr. Clement transforms research into movements and vision into infrastructure. In short, she doesn't just enter rooms, she shifts them. Woo! Welcome. I'm thrilled to have you today, Dr. Christina. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it as well.
I love to jump in and have these conversations. And I love to start with sales because as we're growing as entrepreneurial women, and you have a huge cause and amazing website that I've taken a look at. So why do you think, because I loved this phrase that you said, especially for women, why do you think taking a seat at the table is important so that we have more sales and more success in what we want to do?
Because that's it's a people's business. And in order for you to get there, you have to engage with others. And to engage in others, you have to show up and be present. So it
Mm.
just makes sense that if you are a leader in whatever it is that you do and what aspect you're in, you just have to be present in those rooms.
Yeah, I love so much what you just said there because first of all, the if you are a leader, and I would say as a woman, if you're trying to grow an empire, if you're trying to make change in the world, you have to first define yourself with that word, right? And that's so important. And I also agree with you when you're an entrepreneur, it is a people business.
Mhm.
I'll have women say to me, well, I just want to make my billions like Oprah. I'm like, you don't think Oprah's in the people business?
Mhm,
you know,
mhm,
you
mhm.
pick women who have made their millions and billions, whatever company you want to pick, Spanx, right? Martha Stewart.
Right,
They
right,
are at the table. They're not waiting for an invitation in any way
right,
whatsoever.
right. And I've learned through the process that you can wait forever. Um,
Yeah,
no one can hold your hand and say, okay, come on, you'll be the leader. It's more like if it's
yeah,
in you, you're gonna do the things that make it
yeah,
happen. No one tells you you're a woman. You just know you're a woman and you act accordingly. So that's the same thing. When you want that role, then you be that role, right? It's kind of
yeah,
like when you was in school when they talked about dress for success. When you
yes,
dress for that certain role, then people saw you in that role, and then
yes,
next thing you know, you manifested it into your reality. You
yeah,
think it, you speak it, so it shall be.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a little sassy question here because some of the things that we just chatted pre-interview and getting to know each other. You talked about humor in everyday life. So, how do you find humor in everyday life?
I just create it, I just have to create it because laughter is good for the soul, right?
Yeah.
So, and when you're dealing with a lot of people, you just kind of got to remove the emotion, honestly.
Mhm.
In removing the emotion, you just got to laugh it off, like, you know,
Yeah.
or you
Yeah.
find something funny in that moment. It's not something really I just kind of think of. It just happens, honestly.
Well, and it's interesting how you said that too, because for me, it really relates to what you said a minute ago. Manifest it in your life, right? So if you believe that life shows you humor and laughter and a lighthearted spirit, it will show up for you. If you
Correct.
believe the opposite, guess what shows up for you in
Correct. If
terms
you
of that?
think you can, you can. If you think you
Yeah,
can't, you're gonna get that as well.
yeah,
So however you want it to be,
yeah,
then it will be. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And no matter
Mm-hmm.
how hard a day is as you are growing, what you're growing, audience, hear this message, no matter how hard the day is, finding the light, the humor in it or in yourself
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
sometimes important in what we go
It
through.
actually needs to be a requirement, like those core
Yeah.
pieces that there's no there's no compromise on, right?
Yes.
So so in the structure of whatever that looks like, you have to kind of carve those things in there as well. Like it must be balanced. I must have my massage time. I must have,
Mhm,
whatever your things that pour into your piece, then
mhm,
you protect that part while you're structuring out whatever business or
mhm.
project you're working on.
Yeah, I love that. So self-love is a big thing for me, and I think it is for you too.
Mhm.
Um, and I find that sometimes women really do struggle with claiming who they are. They get caught up in what the world thinks they're supposed to be. So, what's something you would tell women to really claim who they are so they can increase achieving their dreams and goals? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to be authentic with self and just unlearn and relearn, right? Strip away every definition you think you know and start over. So I
Mm,
had this moment in my life where no one prepared me for when your kids leave, right? So when
uh-huh.
my first child left, it tore me apart.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I was like, what? What is a wall? What is a
Yeah.
clock? In my moment. And then I was like, no, you really need to define these things. Why do I use that type of detergent? It was it because of a commercial? Was it because my mom used it? Like, do I really actually like this thing?
Yeah.
And in that process, you're dating yourself, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
dating yourself, you're learning yourself, you're learning, I don't really like that. I was just doing that to be nice. Okay, scrap that. I
Mm-hmm.
love this thing. Like I love to take a bubble bath with the candles because the smell of that fragrance really warms me up and it puts me in my peace. Keep that.
Yeah.
Okay, I love this food. Every time I eat it, it tastes amazing to me. Keep that.
Yeah.
I could hit or miss or I can forget about that.
Yeah.
Scrap that.
I
And
love
then
that.
after a while, all those pieces come together and you find strength and confidence in that space
Yeah, I love
because you
that.
know yourself to a T, right? And once you know yourself to a T, then when you start engaging with people and you start feeling antsy or uncomfortable, then you know that person is not good for you
Not
because they're
alignment. Yeah.
disturbing your peace, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you keep that person from a distance, you pray for whatever they got going on, but
Yeah.
I love you from afar. And if
Yeah.
a person can
Yeah.
engage, which is not disturbing you, then okay, I can take it to the next step with you. And just
I
making
love
the
that.
requirement to stay in your peace, no matter what you got going on, you will
Yeah.
always manifest a beautiful day.
I love that. And you have to know yourself like that to be able to recognize who's showing up. Because if they are leading you down a path that's inauthentic, then you're not able to, what I would say, bless and release, right?
Correct.
I don't have to have hate. I don't need to be in judgment. Not what I
Correct.
need to do. I just need to say, this is not for me, and that's okay. And I firmly believe that's a great way to live life in general. Yet at the same time, if you want to grow a business, you have to be able to realize when there's not alignment and keep moving.
And I
That's
like to say all money is not good money, right?
yes.
So
Yes.
I
Oh boy,
find
have I
that
made that mistake.
exactly it's and and you sometimes you'll deny, the perfect thing for women, we have that gut knowing, that instinct.
Yeah, listen
That
to
is
it.
the perfect thing to listen to. And yes,
Yeah.
it may be a struggle in the beginning, but you know what I used to practice to listen to it every time? I used to wear a mustard seed around my neck, right?
Yeah.
Because they said faith is like a mustard seed. So
Hmm.
every time I second guess myself, I was reminded by
That's
this
it.
mustard seed.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then once I practiced to listen to that, that literally took me to
So
my purpose.
I love that. And you and I could talk forever about this, and I
Yeah, yeah,
want to
yeah,
honor for
yeah,
the
yeah.
audience's 10
Mm-hmm.
minutes. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe we'll continue the conversation online somewhere because we have so
Mm-hmm.
much amazing alignment. I want to
Mm-hmm.
ask you for a few little word associations so people can get to know just the fun personality of who you are.
Okay.
First one, Linus or Snoopy?
Linus.
I know, you knew I knew.
Yep.
Okay, so a cotton t-shirt or silk pajamas?
Silk pajamas. Reminds me of my
Ooh,
blankie.
I love that. Okay. And if you had my Japanese katana, my sword in your hand right now, you would cut through what?
I would take a picture with it, honestly.
All
Yeah, I would
right.
take a picture with it and look
Yeah.
like a samurai warrior.
Yes, that's the brand. I love that, right?
Yeah.
Because we have that power in us as women to be
Yes,
those
yes.
warriors. I love that.
Hmm.
I cannot thank you enough, Dr. Christina, for joining us. I so thrilled to be able to share with my audience your wisdom. Is there anything you want them to know? Of course, they've got a bunch of stuff to read and links down below. Anything you want
Hmm.
them to know as they're watching today?
I want them to know you can find me on stateoflocknation.com.
Mhm.
And when you're reaching for your dream and your purpose, if it doesn't scare you, you didn't think high enough. Go higher and make it come to the reality.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. Thank you so, so much for joining us again. And everyone, please continue to watch the show. Leave Dr. Christina a comment. Let her know what you thought. She would love that. And hit that subscribe button. Come back and join us. And I look forward to seeing you all on our next show where we will continue to learn and grow together. Thank you, everybody. And I'll see you real soon. Bye now.